posture is just a symptom of everything that you've been through, from the birthing process to sitting at a desk all day. A lot of people think the problem is because I sit at a desk all day. Well, it's really not, because the majority of people that work at a desk don't have these same problems. Everything you do needs to be in good posture, whether it's sleeping, sitting, standing, working out, watching movies on the couch. It all has to be done properly because it is affecting your health as time goes on. And you know something's wrong, but you don't really know what the cause of the problem is. And if you figure out where the source of those problems are, you're really going to figure out how to fix it. Chiropractic in a nutshell is just finding out where it's coming from and what to do to actually fix the cause of the problem so that you get out of that cycle of poor posture and bad health, and the symptoms you're dealing with start to go away.
Hey, fitness and health fans. It's time to get your game on and crush it with Coach Margella in another episode of Sporting Good Fitness. Join us for the podcast that will coach you from the sidelines to keep you on your game no matter what health or fitness game you play.
Hey, I'm Coach Margella. I'm Sporting Good Fitness. What are you sporting?
Hey, Coach Margella, what do you have for us today?
Hey everyone, this is Coach Margella back for another episode of Sporting Good Posture. And today's episode is the posture of living. And it's just kind of a general overview of the things in life that affect you health-wise as well as posture and many other things. And this is kind of going to lead into other episodes in the future that we're going to be doing. One of the things that I've talked about before with many of my patients is just their posture is a huge part of their life. But to break it down, there's so many different aspects of that, and it really reaches to all levels of health. So, for instance, your posture of sitting is greatly affected. A lot of us have desk jobs and we're sitting most of the day kind of slumped at a computer screen, and that's one of the biggest postures that affect our overall health as the day goes on. So there'll be an episode that we're going to touch more on in detail exactly how to help for those things. But with the posture of sitting, it really is affecting not only, pain-wise, but also function of your body. Another one is the posture of standing. Many of us either have foot problems or have foot pain, or even if you don't, you just feel like you're not standing as well as you should. And a big part of it is the arches of your feet and what it's doing to the rest of the body as a result of that. And, we look at the shoes that you wear, whether they're dress shoes, tennis shoes, workout shoes, cleats, sandals, flip-flops, whatever it is, it has a big effect on the body. And that's another thing we're going to be looking at. Also sleeping. Sleeping is a big thing. Everybody has to do it. Every night we go to bed, we should be getting 8 hours of sleep, but most of us don't. And there's a reason behind that. And again, it's because of the positioning of it. And also part of it's just the routine that you have going to bed is going to affect you as far as how well you're going to sleep. And also just the stressors in your life affecting that as well. So that's something else we'll be talking more in detail. And just for those of you that either work out, whether you're professional or just a weekend warrior, it's something that you have to deal with because your posture while you're working out is going to affect your strength, your balance, your muscle growth, your potential for injury, whether it's working out, running, yoga, boxing, or CrossFit and more detailed workouts where you're really pushing yourself. If your posture is off during these workouts, you're just not going to get the effect that you want. You're going to end up injured, not getting the gains as far as muscle-wise. You're not going to lose the weight that you're looking for. You're not going to burn the fat you're looking for because your body just isn't in a position to excel in those areas. Those are some of the things that I just wanted to hint at because the posture of living encompasses so many things. And as you listen to these, you're going to learn a lot about what that really means. And this also goes out to people that just aren't as active, the people that are sitting at home binge watching The Walking Dead. And that sitting in the posture that you're in on the couch is going to greatly affect your overall health. You may not realize it, even if you don't have any pain, but it's slowly causing those imbalances in the body to just get worse and worse to eventually where it just reaches a breaking point. So this really affects you, whether you're active or not. So let me ask you a question. Why is posture so important? Is it just more an aesthetic thing? Does it actually impact you more than just, slumping in a chair? Is there really a lot of, health effects from that? Well, the answer is yes. And it really goes back to the beginning of it. And if you think about the birthing process, it actually is a very traumatic event. The birthing process is very traumatic. It's very stressful on you as a baby. And when you come out head first. And what are they doing? They're pulling on your head. They're pulling on your neck. They're pulling on your shoulders. So you've been through that process, but it's very traumatic. So by the time you actually hit your mother's arms, you've been, pushed and prodded and pulled, and you already have the stressors that are going to lead to problems in the future. On top of that, just think about the process as you get older. You become a toddler. And what do? Well, first you were crawling, and now you're trying to walk. So walking at an early age, for those of you who've had kids, how many times a day do you see your child fall down? I know I have 2 kids. They're 4 and 8 now. But when they were trying to learn to walk, they fell probably 50 times a day and then just thump on the floor. And it was never major falls, but just that slow impact set the stage for imbalances. And then on top of that, think of the footwear that these kids wear. There's really no support in the shoes that a lot of these kids wear. And because we're also putting them in shoes at such an early age, you're actually not even developing the muscles in the feet like you're supposed to. So already you're, kind of behind the 8 ball where you're not really getting the support that you need in your feet and the strength that you need in your feet. So you're already setting yourself up for more imbalances. Now, as you get a little older, maybe you start playing sports. Maybe you start playing t-ball. Maybe you start playing basketball or, soccer, and start slowly getting imbalances where they start accumulating, little micro injuries basically. And the imbalance process proceeds. Now you get a little older, if you're playing sports now, going into high school, maybe you get, a knee injury or a back injury, and you just have more stress put on you. You're practicing harder. You're working out more. You're stressing your body more, in a good way because you're trying to get better at your sport. But in the other way is you're adding more stressors on it. On top of that, now you're in school and basically slumped at a desk for 8 hours a day. You're sitting in college. What are you doing all day? Well, you're slumped at a desk. You have a computer. You're sitting on the couch, with the computer in your lap, and you're slumped over. And now, you graduate and you have a regular job. Most likely you're probably busy, you're stressed out, you got to pay for those student loans, and you're sitting there 8 hours a day. You're slumped at a desk all day. So now that continues. But all of a sudden now you start noticing more things that are popping up with your health that weren't a problem before. You got that pain between your shoulders. You got the pain behind your neck. You carry in your stress now in your upper back and neck muscles. You're sitting at a desk all day at work, and it's putting a lot of pressure on your low back. And there's a lot of loading on the low back with the discs and the nerves. And then maybe also you're getting headaches, and maybe you're starting to get acid reflux, or maybe your blood pressure's going up. Maybe your digestion's off. And these are things that start happening. And some of these things don't have any pain. A lot of times, you're dealing with these functions, but your body's dysfunctioning, but you're not necessarily in pain. But all those things that I mentioned there greatly affect your life. The basic common denominator of all this is your posture, because everything you do needs to be in good posture. Like I said, whether it's sleeping, sitting, standing, working out, whatever you're doing, watching movies on the couch, it all has to be done properly because it is affecting your health as time goes on. And now all of a sudden you're dealing with these problems. Maybe you're starting to take medications or get injections, or maybe you're missing work, or you're getting sick more than you used to, and something's wrong, but you don't really know what the cause of the problem is. Well, the common denominator is the posture. And if you figure out where the source of those problems are, that's where you're really going to get better. You're really going to figure out how to fix it. Because, medications, there's a time and place for them, but if you're on those medications, you never actually fix the problem. You're just kind of covering up the symptoms and masking the pain. So you're not really changing anything. You're just kind of keeping it at bay. So really, posture is just a symptom of everything that you've been through over that timeline I just gave you, all from the birthing process to now you're sitting at a desk all day doing work. And it really leads to where you're starting to get that pain between the shoulders, you're starting to get the pain in the neck, the migraines, the imbalances, may cause acid reflux, high blood pressure. All these things are starting to happen. And a lot of people think, oh, well, the problem is because I sit at a desk all day. And that's really where, the problem's coming from. Well, it's really not, because the majority of people that work at a desk don't have these same problems. They don't have the headaches and the back pain and the stress in the shoulders and, the low back pain. They're not dealing with that. It may seem common because you hear it a lot, but it's actually not normal. And even as you age, these symptoms aren't normal. So when you're dealing with that, there is a root cause of that problem. And just because you're dealing with it doesn't mean that that's the way it should be and that's the way it's always going to be. It just means that you're dealing with that and your body's reached a point where it can't take it anymore. I have a lot of people come in the office and they go, yeah, well, I just bent over the other day to tie my shoes and boom, my back went out. Or I went to go, reach for that bag of sugar in the pantry. Or I went and turned my head to drive and now my neck hurts me. Well, it's not just that one incident. It's that accumulation over many years of those imbalances and pre-existing conditions that finally just your body just gave out at that point. And, again, the biggest common denominator is the symptoms that you're dealing with from poor posture. So basically, as a chiropractor, what my job is to just find the cause of those problems. Posture is merely a symptom of the imbalances that you're dealing with. But again, it's that accumulation over years and years. And until you know the true cause of the problem, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it'll stick. You might be taking some pills and you might be doing injections. You might be taking some lotions and potions, but overall, it never seems to get better. And again, it's because you just haven't found the root cause of the problem. And that's what I do in my office is I just figure out, okay, where is this problem coming from? And we figure out whether it was coming from the feet, whether it was coming from sitting, whether it was coming from standing or sleeping or the motions that they do or don't do every day. That's basically what it is if you don't figure out the cause of the problem, you can't actually fix it. Chiropractic in a nutshell is just finding out what it is, where it's coming from, and figure out a game plan on what to do to actually fix the cause of the problem so that you get out of that rut, you get out of that cycle of poor posture and bad health, and the symptoms you're dealing with start to go away. So consider your own timeline. Consider your history of things that may have happened to you, whether it was car accidents, whether it was sports injuries, concussions, slips and falls, anything like that that's happened over the time that you've been alive basically is going to be something that affects you later on. So if you just aren't sure, just take a look in the mirror. The biggest way to just look at it through the mirror is, hey, how do I look? How do your shoulders look? Are they level? Is one shoulder higher than the other? Does your head rotate to one side or the other? Does your head tilt to the side? Do you feel like one leg is longer than the other? Do you feel like one hip may be higher than the other? These are things that are easy to look at in the mirror that can kind of help you figure out what's going on. If you feel like your arches are collapsing, if there's pain in your feet, take a look at all these things because they are symptoms of something bigger that's going on. And even if these symptoms aren't chronic, even if they're just once in a while, even if it doesn't really hurt that much, it's still an indication that something is wrong. It's just like when the check engine light comes on in the car. It's better to figure it out sooner than later because once that light goes on, there's something wrong and it's better just not to ignore it. And the easiest way to figure that out, just contact me directly. I'm there to answer questions on Facebook at Ideal Health and Wellness Center. If you want to contact me on Instagram, it's Ideal Health Wellness Franklin. And also, if you want to just email me directly, I'll answer these questions for you. It's gethealthy@idealhealthwellnesscenter.com. And I'll reach back out to you. I want to help you figure out what the problem is and help you guide you on some ways that you can fix it. So reach out to me directly and I'll tell you what I think. So stay tuned for future episodes because I'm going to address all these things that we discussed earlier. We're going to talk about the posture of the feet, the posture of yoga, the posture of working out, the posture of sleep, the posture of sitting, the posture of standing. All these things we're going to address in separate episodes so you get a good idea of exactly what's going on and figure out where that cause of the problem really lies. Remember, the coach's door is always open. This is Coach Margella. I'm sporting good posture. How about you?
Thank you, Coach Margella, for another thrilling episode.
Sporting Good Fitness is a broadcast wellness production powered by Ideal Health and Wellness Center in Franklin. Executive producer, Frank Sardella. Dr. Margella appears courtesy of Ideal Health and Wellness Center, copyright 2018, all rights reserved. For more information, visit sportinggoodfitness.com.
It's a pleasure to be your producer, man.
Well, thank you.
Love it. Love it.